There's a moment at the end of the emperor's new clothes when the people begin to see the truth, when they start to recognize their leader is not wearing the finest stitching. He's just, well, naked. Well, today, Donald Trump is feeling the breeze. It's no secret that the very foundation of his political power is his unique ability to construct an alternate reality for his supporters to inhabit. But after weeks of deflecting, diverting, distracting attention from the Jeffrey Epstein controversy, Earth 2's population is waking up to the reality that their emperor might not be entirely truthful on this matter. Just listen to how he's still talking about it.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country. And that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit.
We all have Bill Barr to thank for ushering that word into the regular political lexicon. And it's possible Trump is right about one thing. Someone is trying to divert attention from something. Consider how irregular the process has been between the Trump administration and Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell, a convicted sex offender, a move to a ritzier prison that just so happened to coincide with her cooperation with the Trump Justice Department, any meeting she had with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who was once Donald Trump's personal attorney. Even this week, Trump did his best to project just how normal everything has been, but every turn he keeps getting tripped up. Watch.
Were you aware of and did you personally approve the prison transfer for Ghislaine Maxwell that your Justice Department?
I didn't know about it at all. No, I read about it just like you did.
And do you believe that she is?
It's not a very uncommon thing.
It's certainly possible, but it's hard to believe given how closely this DOJ has been working with this White House and how many tabs people are being kept on activities that are happening related to this investigation. It would be a little hard to see Ghislaine Maxwell getting moved to this much lesser security prison facility without the President of the United States knowing.
Do you believe that she's credible to be listening to? Your Deputy Attorney General sat down with her recently.
Well, let me tell you, he's a very talented man. His name is Todd Blanche. Whatever he asks would be totally appropriate, and it's not an uncommon thing to do that.
First of all, the Deputy Attorney General never interviews anybody. Okay, that's done by line assistants, not by the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, who's supposed to be the Chief Operating Officer of the Justice Department.
I didn't discuss it with him, but anything he talked about with her or the fact that he did that, not unusual, number one, and most importantly, is something that would be totally above board.
These are not things that are done by accident, George. These are things that are done on purpose. And I think everyone has to start wondering about how objective is whatever the Justice Department is doing. It isn't really geared towards trying to get her to give testimony that the president would find favorable to him.
So they're all legitimate questions, a sea of legitimate questions. Bill Kristol lays them out like this in the Bulwark, quote, "It is worth recalling that after reviewing the files, Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel ordered FBI agents to black out every mention of Trump, according to Bloomberg News. Why did they do that? After all, if Trump only pops up occasionally in the files as an innocent bystander or as a subject of third-party hearsay with no supporting or corroborating evidence, why the need to black out the mentions? If Trump did nothing concerning while spending time with sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, as Ghislaine Maxwell is reported to have told Deputy AG Todd Blanche before being moved to a far nicer federal prison facility, then what is the problem? Why not just release the files? Let Trump debunk whatever unverified suggestions may be in there and avoid accusations of a cover-up. Perhaps because the files tell us more about the Trump-Epstein relationship. Perhaps because they suggest Trump has something to hide. We don't know the answers to those questions yet. But the fact that they're being asked, even among Trump's most devoted supporters, is an indication that the distractions simply are not working, and that perhaps people are starting to realize Trump isn't wearing the finest stitching after all. That is where we start today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. Staff writer at The Atlantic and author of The Atlantic Daily Newsletter, David Graham, is here with an incredible new piece on this very topic. Also joining us is opinion writer for The New York Times MSNBC political analyst Mara Gay, and Puck News chief political columnist, MSNBC national affairs analyst John Heilman is here. John, I'm going to start with you because you've sort of been my wingman on this story, which I was very late to. I have to say, I covered it during the first term as a heinous crime that was being investigated and prosecuted, and a lot of the victims made harrowing appearances on the Today Show, and I remember watching them in tears. But I hadn't really understood something that you helped me understand, how central this cover-up and Trump's role in unpacking it was to Trump's base. And I wonder where you see that push and pull now that members have been sent home because of the Epstein story. I mean, the reason they were sent home to their districts where they are right now early was because Speaker Johnson wanted to get them out of Washington. But they're being confronted with questions about this, everyone from Nancy Mace to Congressman Flood and beyond.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, and I mean that in the most sarcastic way possible, with that opening script of yours, which summoned up images. Just can we not do images of Trump and naked? You know, the emperor has no clothes at the end. Like, I just, you know, the two words Trump and naked, I would just rather not have them in the same, not just the same sentence, but the same paragraph, the same show. If we could just like stay away from that. I know you got, you know, I understand the appeal of that imagery, the emperor in his new clothes, but it just takes me to a place I don't want to go.
Fair.
I think that you're asking all the right questions, and part of my the challenge here continues to be the absence of the questions are mounting, right? The questions are getting greater and greater and more pointed because the answers are not getting any clearer, but the questions, the sheer volume of them, and the obviousness of them is making it kind of difficult to reach any conclusions just on the logical basis other than what I've been saying to you all along, which is, you know, Trump is taking on water on this matter in a substantial way. He's taking on water across the board. This is, you know, you were talking about a lot of the polling yesterday on the show. We see it, you know, in his losing ground with young men. We see it across the board in his approval ratings. We see it anecdotally in these town halls. We see the manosphere turning against him. We see all these things happening, and you know, Trump has always had a very acute sense of his own, of what moves his base, what moves his core support. He knows that this is a dangerous issue for him, and yet he continues to do things that only make the situation worse for him, that only raise further suspicion, that only raise more of the questions that we're talking about here, which when someone, again, Trump is not the most rational creature in a lot of cases, but when it comes to his political survival, he's always been very rational, and he's made trade-offs all along the way in order to maintain the strength that has kept him in our politics and at the forefront of our politics for the past decade. He's now making choices that are hurting him politically day after day after day. And there is only one logical conclusion. Again, I've said this before on the show, and I feel like a broken record, but there's only one logical conclusion, which is that whatever is on the other side, whatever, if he made the decisions that would the opposite decisions of the decisions he's making now, which are hurting him politically, that if he made those decisions, that the political cost to him, and who knows, maybe the legal cost to him, I don't know, but whatever the various costs, the psychic costs, emotional costs, political costs, legal costs, would be greater. And that I think continues to be the case. There's no other logical explanation for what he has been doing other than that he is afraid of what full disclosure of what is in the Epstein files would bring to him. And I think that his base sees that. They are very, as you said, intimately connected to this story and to this issue. They care about it a lot. They listen to what he said. They listen to what Kash Patel said. They listen to what Dan Bongino said. They saw Trump appoint those two guys to the top two positions at the FBI. They had a lot of reasonable expectations about what would happen, and now they are seeing very clearly that they are being gaslit and lied to, and that Trump is doing things that are not in his own interest, and they are asking the same questions we are and drawing the same logical inferences. They are not conclusions. They are not based based on facts because we don't have the answers yet. But they are coming. This is a rare moment where you and me and the Trump base and anybody who's being logical are all in the same place. They're like, something stinks here. And that's, I think, just inescapable.